Yeah.
How many fans and media, Eddie, are asking you about Conor McGregor these days?
It happens quite often, you know. I'm experiencing the other end of like what I have done to opponents. I'm sure Dos Anjos gets asked about me, and guys that I've beaten are always asked about me. I said it after the Conor fight. When you are defeated by a guy, it's almost like you get a tattoo of that man right on your chest, and you got to deal with it for the rest of your life. So, knowing that moving forward, you just do everything you can to win. You know, you just try to win so you don't get that stupid tattoo on your chest.
And it's a big tattoo when it's Conor.
Yeah,
you know, it's
exactly.
not like losing, you know, as you're coming up the ranks and people forget about the fight. That was the fight that he won his second championship on, and yeah, I mean, there's really.
Yeah.
Have you been frustrated before, and then you've just accepted it? Do you kind of go through different periods with it in terms of how annoyed you get when people are constantly asking you about the guy?
I know. I never really get annoyed. I've dealt with it myself. I forgave myself for it, and I moved on. Sometimes things during the regular day will happen, and I'll just kind of be back in that moment and go, God damn it. But then it goes away. I'm pretty much forgave myself for it. It's over with. It's history, so it'll live. But like I said, it doesn't define me as a fighter. My wins don't define me. My losses don't define me. And what other option do I have? The only other option I have is to feel nothing at all. And I'd never do that. I'd rather go out and be vulnerable to some glory or vulnerable to some disappointment.
Do you? Does that feel like it was yesterday, or does it feel like it was a long time ago, that fight?
It feels long. Yeah, it feels long ago for me. A lot of things happened since then for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, Conor's out here in Las Vegas. You know, he's going to be here around. You know, you're here, he's here. Did you ever think about like, oh, what if we run into each other out here? You know, how much attention are you paying to what he's doing right now?
No, I actually been watching the I'm sitting back with some popcorn, man. I'll be lying. I'm really enjoying this the tour they've been through. I tell my wife the most comical thing for me when I watch movies is the guy who's like so crazy confident about himself, like with the mink jacket, and to me that is they're so funny. I wish I could be like that. As a fighter, I'm like, man, I wish I could do that because then I can make people laugh. But I can't. It's not my style. It's his, and I'm glad he does it because, I mean, we need that. We need guys like that.
So, Eddie, since you've been watching it and enjoying it, which fighter do you think came out of the World Tour better off?
Oh, I think Conor's just more intelligent. He's more witty. Floyd's stuff is, I don't know. There's no, I don't think there's a lot of intelligence behind it. It's kind of, to me, I think Conor's the more intelligent talker. I think I would have gave it to Conor. I heard he flopped his last one. I didn't hear the last one, but as even the first one off the cuff, I thought he did an amazing job. Like they kind of threw him for a loop, they said, and he got right up on the mic. And I mean, he wasn't and stuttering. He went right with it. He's great at what he does, man. And I think he does get a lot of hate, but the truth is, he followed what Floyd did. Floyd knew his only way to control things is to control his own content. Conor right away was controlling his own content, making that Max show or whatever it is. When you control your own content as a fighter, that's the real value. I mean, that's the value in you and the business. So I think some people should keep their eyes out. If they want to control their destiny and control their paychecks and things like that, the content seems to be the key.
Eddie, when you're talking about his confidence and he walks up and he's a showman and he's got the mink suit on and everything, and he did that with you and famously now in New York.
Yeah.
So when you look back on that, what effect did it have on you? And I don't know. What do you think about it now?
So like, if anybody knows, if you know me, like the people who are close to me, knows inside, like I'm dying, I'm laughing inside. But I'm not saying the argument between me and Conor and what happened on stage was about as genuine as it gets. Do I hate Conor McGregor? No. I don't even know Conor McGregor. But the debate is, you can beat me, and that's a belief. And I can beat you, and that's a belief. It's the same difference of arguing religion and politics. We have a disagreement, a legit one. I can beat you up, you can beat me up. No, I have a deep belief in myself, you have a deep belief in yourself. So for people to say, oh, that's just all bullcrap, they're just doing it to get fans. No, they're not. This guy believes he can beat him, and this guy believes. So it's a genuine argument, and one to be had, the same as religion, same as politics. And that doesn't mean they don't like each other. Politicians shake hands, and people from different religious groups are not going to kill each other, but they can have a belief and have a disagreement and talk about it. And that's what's happening right now with their world tour, and that's what happened with us in Madison Square Garden. The guy, he's on the same journey I am. We're just martial artists, and trying to see what we got.
When you're going up against a guy who's just naturally gifted at that, though, which he is, and you've said he is, do you feel like, and the crowd is reacting to everything that he says, and they're occasionally not reacting to what you say? You guys are competitors, and people ask me this, like, what effect could that press conference have on a fighter? And what I say is, these guys are competitors, and you're going to lose, quote unquote, a press conference to Conor McGregor, and maybe that'll affect you in a fight. Is that fair? Is that a good way of looking at it?
Yeah, I think if it may affect you if you're early in the sport. Like if Conor was fighting a 20-year-old kid who's just coming in the sport, making his UFC debut, I could see that having a profound effect on his performance in the fight. But I don't see it happening to a veteran, like understanding that words are just words. After a while, after 10 opponents say they're going to knock you out, and you go out there and choke them out or knock them out, I think you get the drift that the words are just meaningless, and the training and the preparation is everything. So a guy who's young, yeah, I can see it working on him.
So how interested are you in this Mayweather McGregor fight? You were interested in the press conferences. Are you interested in the fight itself?
Hell yeah, I am. I watch Kimbo Slice and Data 5000.
Oh no!
I'm the biggest fight.
Yeah, sorry
fan.
to hear that.
I'm the biggest fight fan you can. I'll watch any fight. If two construction workers are fighting on the side of the road, I'll pull my phone out and tape it, and then I'll show it to everyone and say, I just like watching fights, and when they have this much build up around them, I enjoy it. I'm going to the fight. I'll be there front row.
Really?
Yeah, I have a buddy who my buddy sold me his house, got front row seats, so we'll be there front row.
Aren't those tickets like $40,000-$50,000? That's amazing.
This guy I'm talking about has FU money.
All right, that's awesome.
We're coming to Vegas on a private jet, and we're landing, and we'll be front row.
Wow, so Eddie's...
I believe he got them through charity. I think he gave to a charity, and it was at a charity event.
I was gonna say, is your friend the president of the United States, sitting front row in Mayweather McGregor on the private jet? You friends with Trump? Is that who it is? Sold you your house?
He's a big deal. Guy's a big deal.
All right, so how do you see it unfolding? Knowing Conor obviously the way you do, the sports in general the way you do, what is the fight going to look like?
I believe I heard people with similar assessments as mine, which it would be Conor has about 3 or 4 rounds to get this done, and when this comes down to being a technical boxing match, which is usually around round 4. Between round 5 and 12, it usually goes to the more technical boxer. I think within them 4 rounds, if you don't think Conor can knock this guy out, you're an idiot, or you just don't know fighting, because it can very well happen. If he doesn't get it done by then, it could look very one-sided. The technical boxing of Floyd Mayweather is enough to make it look really one-sided for him, but Conor, there is a very real chance that he can put him away.
You ever think you and Conor will cross paths again, sitting here today?
I hope so. There's some things I would change. There's some things that I would want to make right, and I really hope so. It's a small probability, I think, but if it could, I'd be blessed to be able to get back in there and redeem myself.
Last question I have is it actually goes back to the press conferences, and that is one thing that Conor got flack for was some comments that he made that could be seen as having some racist tendencies to them. The dance for me son, dance for me boy, and then when he tried to follow that up in Brooklyn, his jokes on that kind of fell flat. And I've been talking to other media members of this, mainstream media members of this, working at ESPN, I'll be on radio shows or whatnot. And one question stuck out to me that I was asked by Sarah Spain, actually. And she said, are fighters just held to a completely different standard than other fighters? And I mean, Dana White has come out and basically said, yes. I mean, we're not talking about basketball here. We're not talking about baseball. We're talking about two guys getting in a ring, exchanging blood with one another. You're going to hear some different things than you would hear in a basketball contest, And it really did get me thinking of well, there's that part of it, and then there's also the part that they are selling the fight, and so that if they can bring in some kind of controversial elements to it or some nationalistic elements to it, it could sell it better. What do you think? Do you think that as a combat sports athlete, you are allowed or even encouraged to say things that you wouldn't be saying in other, ball sports?
I think it depends on the kind of role model you want to be. It's up to you. If you want to be seen as a racist, then say racist things. If you don't want to be seen as a racist, then whatever. But it's clearly up to you. It's wrong. My feeling toward it is it's wrong. But I really believe that fist fighting is a very serious, dangerous sport, and any kind of mental edge or whatever I can do to get the edge, I'm gonna do. But racism, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. There's no reason for it. It's really the people watching. They can view it however they want to view it, and some people just like to be controversial. And there's nothing more controversial that's going to sell tickets and racism. You know what I mean? So maybe people are viewing it as racist, and if they are, then this thing's going to sell a whole lot of tickets, a lot more than what we thought it was going to.
Yeah, and I guess that adds on to what I asked you, is that if you knew that you could say something that was pushing the lines of racism, it's not outright, crazy stuff, but you knew that you could push it a little bit and get people talking, and you knew that if you did, it would sell, 500,000 more pay-per-views to your fight. Would you do it? Just knowing that, like I don't believe this is not really who I am. I'm not setting a good role model, but hey, I got a family at home. If this is going to sell 500,000 more pay-per-views, would you say it?
I think it's important up there just to be genuine. So I think Conor's not doing anything but saying what he would say. He's not a guy who says, I'm not going to say that because it's going to get this reaction. He's a guy who says, I'm going to do this, and I don't give a what reaction I'm going to get. And that's what makes it so special, that it's genuine.